Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, sportsbook prize picks, anything you can think of, NFL content. All these videos that get posted on this subreddit right here, I'll have it linked down below. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Anything you need, you can ask me questions. That'll be linked down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. Sorry, X. um, let's go over my lineup from tonight. And if you're looking for more in-depth content, I'll have my Discord link down below where I give you guys cores, player pools, all that good stuff. That'll be linked down below. And my new microphone, or my new headset, sorry, will be here tomorrow. So audio should be fixed by then. So I'm going to move my mic a little bit closer. So apologies for that, guys. Thank you for dealing with it. It will be here tomorrow. Let's go over my lineup from tonight. This is my lineup from tonight. I was anyone but Brandon Clark, and I was just gonna probably win everything tonight. Just so unfortunate there with Brandon Clark. I do think he was a little bit over-owned, so a little bit of regret there. But once we got that Zion news, man, I was just slamming Pelicans. I was playing two of the three of Brendan Ingram, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum. And my core today, it just nuked. LaMelo Ball, core play, 20% and 70 bomb. Brandon Ingram, core play, 38% owned, 50 bomb. What else? Who else was scored? DeJounte Murray, core, 40 bomb. And then Brandon Clark was a core play for me. I had a little bit of regrets there. And then I told everyone James Harden was one of my favorite spin ups on the board. So it was just a fantastic night. Round out my lineup with Cam Johnson, Yabusele, and Nick Richards there. So phenomenal night. Hopefully you guys had a good night. I nuked props. If you guys copied this betting card, you absolutely nuked props. Had great days in Discord, a lot of green in Discord. It was just a phenomenal night overall around. I couldn't believe so many people faded the Pelicans after that Zion news. Just absurd to me. Absurd. All right, so let's go over the slate. I wonder if Wowie has rotations up, so we can bring those back. Hopefully they do. I did not look at. They do. Awesome. All right, so we can take a look at what the rotation was like here for Boston. They ran a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-man rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10-man rotation. 9. Keta got blowout. Apologies. And then Walsh got blowout. So with that being said, they are going up against Washington. There is a ton of blowout risk here. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable. Starting lineup: Tatum, Brown, White, Drew, Horford. And with that being said, I think an interesting angle tomorrow is playing for blowout in this game. I think Peyton Pritchard is a solid contrarian value on this slate regardless. But if you want to play for blowout and hope he gets that blowout run, like he got 24 minutes, played most of garbage time. He's a guy that can absolutely nuke the slate in garbage time, and I think he's a playable value regardless, even if you think this game does stay competitive. So definitely a ton of interest in Peyton Pritchard tomorrow, especially in lineups that don't have any Boston Celtics. I think that's intriguing. And then Jason Tatum, I mean, it's just a phenomenal spot for these guys. If you think this game stays competitive, I think he looks great at 9.3. I think Jaylen Brown looks good. Drew Holiday still think is too cheap at 6K. He looks pretty good to me. Derek White's firmly in play. Al Horford, I think, is a decent value. And if you want to take shots on like Luke Cornett, Tillman, I don't think I can do it. I think there's just much better value on the slate. And Sam Hauser, if he plays, I played him last slate. He played 24 minutes, got some blowout, but I would expect low 20s minutes for him. Guy that has a ceiling, perfectly fine value at 3.9K. Let's go over Washington. Starters here should be Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, Jonas Valanciunas, Sarr, and Coulibaly. So with that being said, I think, Rashawn Holmes should probably get some backup 5. Let's just pull up the depth chart here. Let's take a look at the depth chart. I think they'll probably run 10 guys, 10 guys. We'll see Bub off the bench. Rashawn Holmes backup 5. I think they'll probably run 9 or 10 here. So I think Coulibaly is probably my favorite play on the Wizards at 4.2K. I would expect him to have a jump up this year in production. Hopefully, I would expect high 20s minutes here, 4.2K. I do think Coulibaly is a solid value on the slate. Then Rashawn Holmes should get some backup 5 if you need a dart there. I think that's okay. I think I'd rather play like a Rashawn Holmes over like a Luke Cornett. And then, yeah, main guys don't really stand out to me. I think Jordan Poole at 7.4 is priced right. Jonas Valanciunas at 6.8K. I mean, they have so many bodies. I don't necessarily know how much they want to play Jonas Valanciunas. So I'll probably take a pass there at 6.8K. And then Kuzma, I think there's better spots to target. Sar overpriced, my opinion, at 6K. And yeah, I think my favorite play, probably Cool Ball. Let's move on to the Spurs. So I would expect starters to be with Novosel, Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul, Jeremy Sochan, Harrison Barnes, and then Champagnie or Keldon, I would assume. And then they're going to play more bodies off at the bench. So yeah, Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, Sochan, Wemby, and then probably one of like Champagnie, Keldon, Branham would be my guess. So wait on the starters. Whoever does start of those values would be a solid value, but we know Pop loves troll. Like there's been times where he started Champagnie and he's barely played. So like just be a little bit careful there. But whoever does start would be a decent value at that price point. I think Sochan is just too cheap at 4.6K. So like me some Sochan. And then you guys know I always like to target Daniel Gafford, and what better spot to target Daniel Gafford or a player to target Daniel Gafford with than Victor Wembanyama. Now, could they limit his minutes earlier on in the season? I think it's possible. So I would be a little bit careful here, but if I knew he got his normal run here, I would absolutely love him tomorrow. But I would just be a little bit careful there. I think there is a chance they could keep it easy on his minutes. Keldon, even if he starts or comes off the bench, going to play decent minutes regardless. I think he's a good contrarian play. I don't think a ton of people are going to play him. And then Chris Paul at 5'9", he's fine, playable. And then, yeah, like Sochan for value. Harrison Barnes is fine, probably Sochan. And whoever starts would be playable. And then you see some Castle at 3.8K, more of like a 150 max play if you need it. Yeah, let's move on to Dallas. I like quite a bit here. Dallas is probably one of my more favorite teams to target. I like a ton here. So starters, Luka, Kyrie, Clay, PJ, one of the bigs, probably Gafford. I like a ton here. I think both the bigs are too cheap. I like Gafford. I like Lively. They're going to split the center position. Both not terrible point per minute. I like both quite a bit for value. PJ Washington, I think, is fine at 5.1K. Clay, you guys know drill. If he hits the shots, he has the ceiling. I think he's in play, more of a large field play. I'm probably not going to go there, but of course he is playable. Then what's this price point on Kyrie Irving? 7.5K for Kyrie Irving in a good matchup going up against the Spurs. I love him. I think Luka Doncic is too cheap at 11.1. I really like him. So yeah, I like this Dallas team quite a bit. I don't know if I get to anyone off of the bench here though. Moving on to OKC starters: SGA, Chet, J-Dub, Caruso, and Lou Dort. And then if you pull up the depth chart, we know they're going to play a ton of bodies, right? They're going to play like Kaysen, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Diang, I think, gets the backup 5. So they're going to play a lot of bodies here. But with that being said, with no Giddey on this team, SGA should see a pretty big bump in his peripheral assist percentage. We kind of saw that last year at the end of the year when they were benching Giddey. We saw his assist percentage take a huge jump. And I don't know if the field is going to recognize that at the start of this year. I don't think he's my favorite spend up on this slate, but I do still like him at that price point. Then Chet, 7.5, I think is decent. We know he has a huge ceiling, can get some rebounds, good shot blocker, good scorer as well. So I don't mind Chet there. What else? J-Dub, I think is decent. I honestly probably prefer Chet to J-Dub. And then I think Cruz is a good value. Stat sheet stuffer. They need him out there for his defense. I mean, this team's defense is going to be fun to watch. I would expect decent minutes. So yeah, I think Cruz is good. And then more large field plays. We want to take darts. I think my preferred value off the bench would be like a Joe probably. And then if you want to play, I think Diang is intriguing. They don't really have anyone else to play backup 5. So I think Diang's probably going to get the backup 5 run. So I think Diang is perfectly okay value on the slate, assuming he does get that backup 5. Moving on to Denver. So same with Luka. I think Jokic is just too cheap. So yeah, in love with the Jokic here going up against the Thunder. I think I give the slight edge to Luka, but I think both look great. Jamal Murray, they kind of kept it easy on his minutes in preseason. He was dealing with some injuries. Obviously from last year, he didn't look great. More of just a large field play. I don't think they're going to go too crazy on his minutes, but due to the price point, it does still make him firmly in play. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., these two guys, they're always just filler plays for me. Michael Porter Jr., probably your ceiling play between the two. Aaron Gordon, I would say a little bit safer. And I like Russell Westbrook a lot for value. I think he's going to play low 20s minutes. We know he's, energy guy off the bench, statue stuffer. I like him quite a bit. I don't even think he's going to be popular tomorrow. So yeah, like Westbrook. Braun's playable, Strother's playable as well. Moving on to Minnesota. So we already saw Minnesota play a game. We can pull up that rotation real quick. And I got it right. Dante DiVincenzo closed over Mike Conley. So I feel really good about that. I think it's probably going to happen again. You saw Nickeil Alexander close as well. Jaden McDaniels got into foul trouble, I believe. He fell out. Yeah, he fell out, right? Not entirely sure. But yeah, they ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-man rotation. I would expect that to continue. They could even ice out Ingles. I think he gained minutes from foul trouble from McDaniels as well. But with that being said, yeah, I love Ant once again here. I think he's a really good spend up at 8.8K shooting guard eligibility, which is nice. He's going to truck when he's out there. Like, I think he's trying to make a statement this season. So I'm very, very high on Ant in GPPs. I think Randall's fine. Rudy Gobert, I think, is decent as well. How many minutes Rudy Gobert in with last game? Yeah, 35 minutes. I think with no cat in this team, his minutes are going to be a lot more secure. So super safe plays. Randall's fine. And then I like Dante quite a bit once again. If we continue to get around 30 minutes from Dante DiVincenzo here at 5.2K, he is too cheap, right? He is playing backup point. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. His ceiling, his floor goes way up. So yeah, and there's probably going to be a little bit of recency bias here with Dante with how bad of a game he had last game. But yeah, with those minutes, like him quite a bit. And I like Naz Reid quite a bit. Both had slow starts the last game. Both played pretty badly. I like them both quite a bit as bounce back candidates. And I would take both of them over Mike Conley all day long here. McDaniel's fine. No, thank you. NAW 4-1 is firmly in play. And then I think that's probably it for me. All right, last team here. Starters for the Kings: Sabonis, Fox, DeMar, Keegan, Kevin Huerter. We can pull up the depth chart here for the Kings. And then you're going to see Malik Monk as the 6th man. Alex Len get the backup 5. And that's mainly the only notable guys that I possibly have interest in. Whoo-wee. I know it's not a good matchup. But I always love me some Sabonis. I think he's more of a contrarian spin up, but great rebounder. Going to get you a double-double most likely. Probably going to play big minutes. So no issue with Sabonis. No issue with Fox. I think DeMar's okay. I'd rather just pay up for Fox though. Then yeah, Keegan Murray 5.5, just there for me. And then Blake Monk, kind of similar situation to like Russell Westbrook. I like these high usage players off the bench, so like Monk there. And then I think Kevin Huerter's a good value at 4.5K. Has the low floor if he's not hitting his shots, but should play decent minutes. 4.5K starter. I like him. I think he's good. And then Alex Len will get the backup 5, kind of similar to like a Rashawn Holmes type play, those type guys. So yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for the slate. I hope you guys had a great night. Sorry for the audio. New microphone will be here tomorrow, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.